LAMP's mission is to break down language and cultural barriers for immigrants, refugees, the deaf, and the hard of hearing who are seeking health care and support services in St. Louis, in the metropolitan area here. And here to tell us more is Executive Director Eduardo Vera and Project Coordinator Cynthia Chavez. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
LAMP stands for Language, Access, Multicultural People.
And that is correct.
So, I don't know, could you kind of expand on that a little bit for me?
Well, originally, about 20 years ago, it was the same name for the company, but it meant something more limited to the city of St. Louis. Mm-hmm. At that time, it was a Language.Access.Multicultural.People project. So since we expanded our services through more into the counties around the area of St. Louis into Missouri as well, we changed that. We did a new branding about 4 years ago, and we changed it from LAMP as a metropolitan project into multicultural people.
And you reach over on in the Illinois side too, don't you?
We do in the southern region of Illinois, correct.
Uh-huh. And Cynthia, you're a project coordinator. Are you
Yes.
coordinating a certain project or?
All the projects
All
that
the
we need to
projects.
coordinate at LAMP, yes. And I do a lot of training as well. We have many trainings that's part of our services throughout the year for interpreters, but also for providers. So how to work with interpreters and things like that. But
Explain to me, I get the concept of helping people like maybe they come here from a foreign country and aren't real fluent with the language. But how does that relate to, you also work with deaf people, I guess, who speak any language. So what's the connection there maybe that I'm not getting?
Well, it's actually following our mission is to cover the necessity of foreign language services for refugees and immigrants. And the hard of hearing or deaf people, they need us as well, so we can communicate then with all the services available in our communities for this kind of.
So it's not really a language thing; it's a communication thing.
yes, it's
right?
access.
It is a communication
the access
thing.
to healthcare. So everyone should have the same ability to access a doctor and in the same easy way, just as you and I could if we can call our doctor easily. That person that doesn't speak English or is deaf or hard of hearing should also have that same ability.
Yeah, I would think it might be hard for some people to realize what it'd be like to move to a part of the world where you don't speak the language and how challenging that is. Tell me how big of a problem it can be for some people. I mean, do you work with people that come here and speak almost no English at all?
Absolutely. There are many, there are many cases where our immigrants or refugees have no knowledge of the language. And it's said for immigrants, but with refugees, usually they will not choose the target country, the country of destination. Somebody else will make that decision for them. So maybe you knew French and Arabic growing up as a child in the Middle East, and then you're moved to St. Louis, Missouri, which Arabic and French are not your languages.
And it must be really challenging to try to get a job because how can you impress an employer when you can't communicate?
Right.
Exactly. And it's good that many of our interpreters have also kind of been through the same situation, are growing up or moving here themselves as an immigrant, so they kind of know what it's like to have that struggle. So when they go out, they're doing this to help their communities as well, to make it easier for those people that just arrived.
So what do you really do? I mean, do you have English classes? Is that a major part of it?
No, not at all. We offer English classes basically to the interpreters that we rescue from those communities that are going to become professional interpreters after they have been trained. So what we do with English as a training for them, it will be to polish the knowledge of English language, to improve their accents, to review grammar, and etymology and terminology. But what we do essentially is to provide interpretation in an environment like the healthcare environment, where a doctor will interview a patient and interpreter will be there communicating both of them. It's not only about linguistics, and it's not only about the knowledge of the language, but it's also about a deep knowledge of the cultural background.
How important is that? Understand the culture as well as the language.
Very important, because an interpreter that knows both of the culture, the American culture, and then their patient's culture, they can explain maybe certain customs or beliefs or certain words that might mean a certain thing that don't have an equivalent in English. For example, some kind of specialty doctor from their village does a certain kind of specialty that they went to, and sometimes an interpreter might have to explain what that is or what that person does if we don't have that here in the United States. So.
I'm just thinking, I know some people are born in this country and speak English and they don't communicate very well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's hard to understand, you know, you go to the doctor and they're asking you questions or giving
Right.
you all these really complicated terms. It's hard sometimes for yourself to understand. So having an interpreter that has that knowledge is so important. They're part of the treating team as well.
I've got some more questions for you. So will you stick around?
Yes,
Sure.
of course.
Good. All right. Stay with us right here at STL Live. We're going to learn more about LAMP right after this break.